Hello students, welcome to ekamiasacademy. I hope your prelims preparation is going on well. Welcome back to this answer writing series on Indian economy. Today we are going to cover a chapter on very important chapter in economy called inflation. As I told you initially, we will be going chapter wise, and also very important announcement to all of you on the demand of the students. We'll complete this inflation chapter from the mains perspective. Once this chapter is over, we'll start prelims, polity and economy both. Every day I'll cover the entire subject of polity and economy from prelims perspective. So let's complete this chapter from mains perspective. As we all know, inflation is an important chapter both from prelims as well as from mains perspective. But today and couple of days from now onwards, we'll cover inflation. Inflation is a big chapter, and we can expect to write around 6 to 8 questions on inflation, one single chapter itself. Okay, so let's not waste time. List out the forms of inflation that are witnessed in India. Discuss effects of inflation on growth and development. We have done both growth and development, and we have also understood how growth is different to development also. Okay, 250 words question and 15 marks. Okay, now introduction, because it is asking about the forms and how it is affecting the growth and development. So we need to very carefully write our introduction to this question. Now, inflation as we know is a gradual increase in the value of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. Full stop. So we are defining inflation in our introduction. Then we will continue to write. Then inflation has great effect on the growth and development of an economy. Full stop. While inflation up to a limit is desirable. However, uncontrolled inflation can be disastrous with long-term negative effects on the economy. So we are telling in this, we have defined it, we have spoken about its effect. We are also telling it is good also and bad also. When it is good, when it is bad. Now, forms of inflation that are witnessed in India. So we are starting our main body. Primarily the inflation that we witness in India is either demand pull or cost push inflation. Now, while demand pull inflation reflects consumer demand for a good, demand for a good, demand pull inflation. It means the price of a particular good is rising because the consumers are demanding for it, right? Demand for a good, while, because we started while, cost push inflation is a result of increased cost of inputs in the production process. Both these forms of inflation are visible in an economy. So both we have told that they are visible in an economy. Then the third form of inflation is called structural inflation. That is a direct result of structural inefficiencies which is troublesome. Continue to write. The presence of structural inflation showcases inefficiency of the government or central bank of a country in controlling inflation. Then the last is the another form of inflation is import inflation. This inflation is a direct result of a country's heavy reliance on importing goods or services. For example, the prices of oil, petrol and gases on which India is highly important. India is highly import dependent. So these are the forms of inflation that our economy witnesses time and again. Then we'll switch to the effects, discuss the effect of inflation on growth and development. While inflation in controlled limits can have positive impact on the economy by infusing confidence in the investors to invest money in an economy. Be it domestic or foreign investors. So what I am saying, if the investment is on a higher, is rising, there is inflation in an economy, it is a message for the investor that he will get more money out of his investments that he will do in that particular country. So that is one of the positive. It also signals, it also has a positive impact on the growth figures, which is also an important macroeconomic indicator. Inflation also keeps unemployment under check. To some extent. So this is how the people will benefit from controlled inflation. On the other hand, there are few negative effects of inflation. Primarily, inflation reduces the purchasing power in an economy. The cost of borrowing, what happens in inflation? If it is going, the cost of borrowing also increases. It projects very important effect of inflation. One must remember, it projects distorted resource allocation. So these are the negative effects, positive and negative effects. Lastly, conclusion. Inflation in itself as a macroeconomic indicator reflects a growing economy. As per international financial organizations and economic experts, a gradual inflation level of 3 to 4% is desirable for sustained growth. Also, inflation keeps the economy dynamic to gain from rising prices. So that is how the first question on the inflation chapter we have covered today. So from inflation, we will be writing approximately 6 to 8, 9, maybe 10 questions also. Multiple dimensions I will cover from inflation. This is the first question that we have covered. So keep writing with me, keep watching the video, keep liking, sharing and commenting on the video. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.